Your mindset is the set of beliefs that shapes how you see yourself and the world. It influences how you think, feel, and act in any given situation. Hi, my name is Chantel. I'm a speaker, a teacher, a coach, and a mom. And on this channel, I try to give you access to content, ideas, food for thought that you can take and use as building blocks to construct the best life that you can imagine for yourself. By now, many of you are familiar with the work done by Carol Dweck and the concept of fixed mindset and growth mindset. Today, I want to focus on some of the behaviors or actions you can take to cultivate a positive response or respond in a growth mindset way to the situations you might encounter. Remember that earlier video that I put out about the Pygmalion effect? And that's basically how what you think or assume about a situation impacts its outcome. In that video, we were talking about how we show up and what we believe about other people can either support them in achieving what they're seeking to and showing up as their best selves or not. But what about when you turn the spotlight inwards? Well, this week, I had the privilege of taking part in what we call Nova Cafe, which is our organization's version of getting together, talking about our culture principles, why they matter, and how they show up in our jobs and personal lives. And one of the activities that we did in a breakaway session was a really great example of how mindset can make or break you in any given situation. Positive mindset is not something that we have to think about really when things are going well. But often things don't go to plan, or we encounter a stumbling block. So every crisis we encounter is an opportunity for us to really analyze and figure out how mindset could factor into helping us be more successful in those situations. A huge thank you to the inimitable Inga Wolf, who gave me permission to use these scenarios she so beautifully scripted for our session this week. Although they're couched in a teaching context, they are applicable in a variety of situations. Let's take a look at scenario 1. Lewis is an apprentice teacher. Students had been working remotely and they're finally back on campus. So Lewis is excited to present his coding lesson because he knows coding is a 21st century skill and it's something his students need to master. He's planned an exciting lesson that sees them learning how to use a set of instructions to guide a character through a maze. But, #ESCOM, power goes out and Lewis cannot present his lesson. He is flustered and for a moment he considers cancelling but decides to consult with a fellow teacher for advice. Using a set of innovative approaches, Lewis decides to map out a course on the ground using masking tape and have students give prompts to others who are blindfolded to guide them through the maze and achieve the objective. Scenario 2. Lando is a sports coach, similarly excited that the kids are going to be back on campus. So he spent the past 4 weeks planning an engaging, exciting obstacle course and relay session, but on the day that he's planned for this fantastic event, the weather goes south. And by the time it's time for the starting gun to fire, it is raining cats and dogs. Lando is really disappointed. The universe seems to be against him. He cancels the event and sends a message out to parents. Alright, so we considered these scenarios from an organizational context and specific to our culture principles. But let's take a look at what they teach us in a more everyday way. How does mindset factor into this? There's a few key things we can learn from the more proactive scenario. So the first thing that I'd like to highlight is being clear on your objective. Lewis knew exactly what he wanted his students to be able to achieve. So pivoting was something that he could do because he had the benefit of clarity. He knew that what he wanted specifically was for them to be able to learn how to give a set of instructions that would achieve an objective. He had the ability to be able to change and pivot without sacrificing the outcome he was seeking to achieve. The second is belief in the importance of the outcome. If you think that what you're doing matters, then you're more likely to try to approach it from a solutions-first perspective. You're more likely to try to find ways to accomplish it, even when things go a little awry. And this is why conversations like understanding your values or knowing how your personal values and what it is you're looking to achieve, if it's in a work context, align. If you can see why what you're doing is important, then you're probably going to be more motivated to make sure you accomplish it. So bringing the love to what you do means finding why it matters. The third is the ability to ask for help. You're not going to be able to resolve every challenge that arises on your own. In Lewis's case, reaching out and getting some input from another peer helped him to come up with a solution that worked really well for the students and himself. He may not have had the knowledge on his own to be able to make that shift. And the fourth is adaptability. I've said it a million times, things will not always go to plan. If you're set on one way of accomplishing it, then you may not be able to bend to respond to shifting circumstances. Planning to cultivate adaptability may be as simple as that planning for the inflection points piece in terms of saying plan A, B, and C. Should something go wrong, what would I do instead? Or at the very least, being open to the possibility that the first way you came up with may not be the only way to achieve what it is you're seeking to accomplish. because remember, you're clear on that objective and you know why it matters. So to be sure, there are tensions that you'll experience when you're trying to apply a growth mindset. The very fact that you don't need it until the going gets tough means that thinking someone is just a positive person for whom everything goes well is probably the most damaging fixed mindset behavior you could accomplish. If you want to know a little bit more about how fixed mindset shows up and how it impacts you negatively, Oren Gutlener from Match Teacher Residency has a really great video. It's called The 4 Horsemen of Fixed Mindset. I hope that today's video has been the food for thought. I hope it has, and that you have some examples that you can apply the concepts we've talked about to how you can get even better at building a resilience-based growth mindset approach to navigating the obstacles that you'll face. And until next time, stay safe and see you soon.